So Atrum Coal is developing the Tier 1 hard coking coal project in southern Alberta in Canada. Really excited for 2021, further resource upgrades, completion of our PFS and initiation of our permitting process. So a lot to be excited about in 2021.
Atrum Coal's flagship wholly owned Elan hard coking coal project is located in the Crowsnest Pass area of southern Alberta, Canada. A scoping study to evaluate development of this project, incorporating mining of both the Elan South and Isolation South areas, was completed in April this year. And since then, Atrum has been working towards the completion of a pre-feasibility study for Elan. Atrum has also two northern British Columbia and Canada anthracite projects on its books, the 100% owned Groundhog and 65% owned Panorama projects. To discuss more with me today is Managing Director and CEO Andrew Caruso. Andrew, welcome to TCN TV.
Thanks very much, Laura. It's great to be here today.
Now, the Elan project has two development areas, Isolation South and Elan South. What prompted Atrum to more recently focus its attention on Isolation South?
Yeah, we shifted our focus to Isolation South due to a number of factors. One being the magnitude of the resource upgrade since December last year. So now we're up about 81% at Isolation South from 2019. Secondly, the larger consistent level of seam deposition at Isolation South as well. And thirdly, just the shallowness of the thick seams that are running consistent with topography. So that really lends itself well to low strip ratio mining. So what all that means is that sole sourcing from Isolation South in the early years has the opportunity to reduce our costs in those early years based on that lower strip ratio. It also allows us to defer the pre-production capital cost associated with Elan South, and also gives us greater development and operating simplicity.
Atrum Coal's September quarter activities report indicated parts of the pre-feasibility study for the Elan project had been further progressed in this period. What were they? And when do you expect the much-awaited PFS for Elan to be released?
Yeah, so real focus now on the pre-feasibility study, and particularly in that September quarter. So we initiated the PFS then. So we've appointed our key consultants. We've completed some important trade-off studies that enable us to focus on the specifics of the PFS. And of course, during that time, we completed our drilling program. So that really now underpins an exciting phase for us, and we're looking to complete that PFS by the middle of 2021. So, and particularly our announcement recently on the resource upgrade really underpins the key technical elements of the PFS.
Now, Andrew, assuming Elan's PFS does come through mid next year, as you say, when are regulatory submissions, the definitive feasibility study and subsequent approvals expected to be completed?
Yeah, so on the basis of a PFS completion by the middle of 2021, then in the second half of the year, we'll be doing the preparatory work for the regulatory submission or our permitting process. So we would hope to have the initial project description completed by the second half of 2021, and by early 2022, submitting to the regulator the impact assessment. In parallel with that, we'll be working on our bankable feasibility study. So really getting the permitting phase underway by 2022. And then we're now looking at around about a 2-year process with the federal and provincial regulators to move forward through that permitting process. So to around about 2024.
Okay. And look, Atrum Coal recently announced a resource update for its Isolation South hard coking coal deposit, as you mentioned, following the company's drilling program. What were the highlights of this update, and what ramifications does it have for previously released scoping studies for the Elan project?
Yeah, really significant, Elder. So the Isolation South measured and indicated resource classifications increased by a whopping 113%. So we've gone up from 82 million tonnes in early 2020 to around about 175 million tonnes. So that level of confidence uplift really does underpin the future for the project. The overall Isolation South resource increased by around about 32% to 262 million tonnes. And now the total Elan project has around about 500 million tonnes of total resource. So all that creates a great foundation now to de-risk and to really add to our business case for the project. And in fact, we're going to expect further resource upgrades in Q1 2021. So that all bodes very, very well for the completion of the PFS and the continuation of our project studies.
Andrew, Atrum Coal recorded almost $10 million in cash outflows in the September quarter and had $13.9 million in cash on its books at the end of that quarter. Why is the company expecting a lower level of cash outflows in the current quarter?
Yeah, so we've now shifted our focus, Lelda, onto our studies. So expenditures were heavy through the September quarter as we're doing intensive drilling, coal quality, hydrogeological and geotechnical drilling. So all those field activities have now come to an end. So levels of expenditure through the December quarter will fall accordingly.
And finally, Andrew, Atrum Coal's Elan project has several upside scenarios attached to it, including, not surprisingly, scope for higher than expected coal prices and yields. How do your current coal price assumptions stack up against the prices assumed in the project scoping study? And what other upside scenarios exist for this project?
Yeah, so we look at the historical coal prices. We look at how we expect our tier one hard coking coal will align to those coal pricing benchmarks. So, historically, coal for tier one hard coking coal has been up around $180 per tonne. We assumed $138 in our scoping study. The long-term consensus suggests that there's a lot of strong fundamentals for that 138, 140 mark for our type of coal. So that's the basis for our updated scoping study, as well as we're looking at that number as well for our PFS. So, but I think there is some conservatism in that, and we're seeing some current disruptions in the price in the market because of China and Australia tensions, but the long-term fundamentals look very, very good. And we're also looking at upside drivers like the coal yield or recovery, and also the continuing resource upgrades as well as opportunity to further improve the returns of the project.
Andrew, thank you for the update and all the best for your PFS ahead.
Thanks, Lelda. I really appreciate it, and thank you to the Capital Network.
And thank you for watching. Now, if you like what you see, please be sure to like and comment and tell us who you would like to see next and what you would like me to ask them. Or if you're an investor, send us an email so we can keep you in the loop with the latest ideas to empower.